Greetings and welcome, family. We're in for a special show tonight. Goddesses Unchained. This is going to be fun, informative, hilarious, and illuminating. So without further ado, let's go into the opening starting now. Let me just pull up the videos for you. Here we go.
Call to the warrior in you, to the healer in you, the king, the queen, the magician, the lover in you. Every single day, we are called to walk in our purpose. Answer the call. Lay down your burden and anything that holds you back and take your rightful place. The battle is everywhere. It's right in your face. Let's go.
Crystals and pyramids. Success is your destiny. Yes. Love, wisdom, power. Remember, yes, always who you are. Yes, yes, I am. Love, wisdom, power. Yes, yes.
Okay, family, we have one more. This is a free advertisement to invest in the future music.
Family, I am here with a magical moment of young musicians. And this is Kim, Sister Kim, and she has a message about investing into the future musicians of our community. Sister Kim, tell us what you got here.
Hi, everyone. Kim, proud parent of children at the Big Apple Leadership Academy for the Arts. We teach HBCU high-stepping marching band to our kids from age 5 and up. It is a free after-school program, tuitionless, and it's open to all. Our kids are amazing. If you can, jump on our website. We're looking for support, donations. Our kids need new instruments so that they can high step on. Our website is www.bola.org, BALAA.org. And I appreciate the time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so, family, listen up close. We're talking about investing in the artists of tomorrow. By investing in them, if you have a little expendable change to invest in the youth, the genius, this is the opportunity. And in this description on this video will be the details of sending your donation to PayPal or Zelle or Cash App.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for your support. Our children are the future.
All right. Ashe, Aho. So let it be spoken, so let it be done. Family, we have been moving into the realms, our planet, our solar system, our galaxy has been moving into the realm that the sleeping gods, talking about you and me, the sleeping goddesses, are being genetically, spiritually activated. No longer, as we move further into this realm, as our planets swim through the spirit waters of ether, each of us are being attuned to our divinity, and the need for external worship is fast becoming obsolete. In the ancient golden era throughout the world, there was no paradigm of external worship. That only happened after the fall of humanity. So, where we are now, as awakening star seeds, as awakening gods and goddesses, realizing we are the magic. There is no external greater than what's internal. There's no external force greater than what's internal. So we focus, and this magnificent, magical, miraculous power force in the inner source of our hearts is called Om in India, Nuk Pu Nuk in the golden age of ancient Egypt, or Kemet. And in this language we're using now is called the realm of I am. So I am in me, I am in you, the listening audience, now and in the future. I am within Sherine. I am within King Simon. I am within all life. We say collectively in the spirit of Ubuntu and individually, thank you for being born. Thank you for being alive. Thank you for surviving the airport formative years. Some may have had a smooth landing into this incarnation, and some may have crashed and burned and tucked and rolled, but you're here in this realm, and you are on a mission for the highest elevation, the highest activation, and to complete your mission in this incarnation. We say again, I am in me salutes I am in you. And that is the root meaning of namaste. So we look back because we, my brothers and sisters, are energy that cannot be created or destroyed. We are energy that cannot be created or destroyed. So that's why the greatest kept secret in the dark ages of this cycle is that you're God, you're goddesses with amnesia. So with certain words of power, I am awakening to all I am, we ignite, activate, and kickstart our so-called junk DNA, which is our super consciousness, superpower DNA, into this realm of existence. So as we look back into the past lives, we say, yes, I am forgiving everybody. I'm God. I forgive everybody. And I ask everybody forgive me because I'm God. And most of all, I am forgiving myself. And as we turn our consciousness into the here and now, we say, yes, as a self-realized Jedi of eternity, I am forgiving all future possibilities and all future somebodies. And I ask all future possibilities and all future timelines to please forgive me. And most of all, as a self-realized God, as a self-realized goddess, I gracefully forgive myself. Because when I was broken and busted, I was a grudge collector, like tin cans on the corner, because I had no sense of worth. I had no heart that was full of love and joy. So I collected like dirty tin cans, grudges. That's exactly what it is. Tin can collection of grudges. So to activate your DNA, you say, yes, I am forgiving existence. And yes, I am existence forgiving me. And with that being said, we ask for ascended master coaches to assist us, even on this show, on a daily basis in all our chakras. Yeshua, his wife, lover, Mary Magdalene, we thank and invite. Black Madonna, Mother Mary, we thank and invite. Saint Germain, keeper of Mount Shasta in Northern California, entrance into the hollow earth where you and me would live 1,500 years instead of this paragraph of 50, 80 years. Because in the earth's interior, we're right now surface savages scrambling to and fro. It's a beautiful pearly planet, but we're not in the interior we're not in the living room, family. We're on the rooftop. So we thank and invite Saint Germain. We thank and invite the latest Christ born in the Congo, Simeon Toko, who invoked the army of black angels, muscle bound, bulletproof, and chased the Belgium occupational terrorists out of the Congo while turning over their tanks and flipping over their heavy artillery. We thank and invite you, Simeon Toko, to be on this platform. African ascended master who founded the city of Tuba, walked on water, hungry lion proof, flew through the air better than Superman. Sheikh Amadou Bamba, who wrote 7 tons of prayers, some so powerful that the local brothers and sisters buried some in the oceans. Sheikh Amadou Bamba, Sheikh Ibrafal, we thank you and invite you to be on the platform. Nikolai Tesla, we thank you and invite you. Archangel Michael, would you please protect our family, friends, and loved ones, our women, children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, grandpa, grandma? This is the ultimate deflector, family. All you have to do is speak the spoken word of Archangel Michael to protect you, surround you, and you are impervious. And if you wish that for your loved ones, say it in your mind or say it loud, and it will be so. Sanat Kumara, we thank you and invite you. Enoch, the Ethiopian who ascended into the heavens and became Metatron, we thank and invite you. Lady Buddha, yeah, there was a Lady Buddha, and she's still acknowledged and adored in Cambodia and Vietnam, family. It's not a patriarchal, there is a patriarchal illusion that is only masculine inclusion. The divine force is a trinity, not a Holy Ghost for the femininity, but literally Father God, Mother God, and the tantric love between Father God and Mother God that we've called Christ, Huru, and various other names throughout the halls of time. So we ask the presence of Lady Krishna, White Buffalo Calf Woman, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, P.B. Randolph, Harriet Tubman, Mary McLeod Bethune. We thank and invite Frederick Douglass. We thank and invite Chief Geronimo, Chief Osceola, Chief Crazy Horse, Chief Sitting Bull, Chief Seattle. We thank and invite all the warrior shamans who held the flame of love's power throughout time, even in the darkest of hours. We thank and invite our ascended master brothers and sisters from throughout what we call today Africa, Atlantis, Lemuria, the hollow earth. We thank and invite Credo Mutwa, South African Zulu shaman. We thank and invite you upon this platform. We thank and invite the African Hawaiian kahunas, meaning keepers of secrets. We thank and invite to be on this platform. As we acknowledge Pele, the goddess of the volcanoes on Hawaii, the goddess of the volcanoes, is called Pele, and her sister is the goddess of the ocean, Hina. We thank you and invite you to be upon the platform. And the forces of nature that live within us, Ilegba, Oshun, Yemaya, Olokun, Oya, Shango, Ogun, Obatala, Ochosi, we thank and invite. Because you, my brothers and sisters, you are Allah. You are Yahweh. You are Elohim. You are Buddha. You, through your I am, is Alpha and Omega. And this is going to be a party of divinity featuring our beautiful goddess tonight. And we say together, Ashe, Aho, Donada, Wado, Amen, Amen. And it is so. Sherine, goddess Sherine, welcome to Magnets, Crystals, Pyramids.
Well, thank you.
Mm,
Thank you.
mm,
I appreciate that.
mm. How you feel? Tell us how you feel.
Well, I feel a little surprised that I was able to make it on time.
Oh, yeah, you did.
All kinds of crazy obstacles came my way and I laughed them off. I
That's
said,
it.
I got you, but it's not going to stop me. And here I am.
And we're glad to see you. And you know what? I want to bring your beautiful symmetry forward, up and forward. Let me shrink me down a little bit because it's all about you. You. Looking good, woman. Looking good.
Well,
So
thank you.
here, this is a floating boat of divine misfits, motley crew of Jedis wishing to continue to elevate and activate love supreme, tantrically, spiritually, energetically, and more. And family, wherever you are in the world, put in the comments what part of the planet, city, state, country, or off planet listening that's happening. And I'll post it while, while the show is going on. Okay.
Should I put
And
in mine
Kafumi is
where I
already.
am right now?
Say that again.
Should I put where I am right now, or should
Oh,
that
no, you
remain a
could
mystery?
just say it, woman. Say where you're at right now.
Montreal, Quebec,
Oh,
Canada.
oh, oh.
Yes, there are Anglophones in Montreal.
Anglophones. What is that?
That's a more technical term for English, English
Hmm.
speaking.
I never
Yeah.
heard that before. That's definitely
Well,
beyond Brooklynese.
oh, and all the the isms and the accents of New York City. I enjoyed myself immensely for those 10 days I was there. And thanks for being a part of that pleasant experience.
Have you been taking your Y power?
Yes, I have. I was thinking just of you, ironically, 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days
Oh,
ago.
I got to put the banner up. Special acknowledgement to Y Power, man. He's in the audience too. Uh,
Definitely. And as I was taking it, I thought of you. And then you called,
near,
ironically.
near.
I know. I have that happen to me on the odd occasion. I don't know.
Mm.
My vibes have to be like really for that to happen, but it has happened where it's like a full 24 to 48 hours of a thought, a name, the phone call, or the doorbell rings. So
And
I
what
guess,
and what have you noticed so far when you consume Y Power?
oh my
Cancerian
God.
lovely.
At first, I was wondering when you gave it to me. I was sitting there going, oh, I hope this isn't like some kind of natural magic mushroom trip or ride, because I'm naturally high. So I'm scared to find out what would happen to me then. I might go into total zombie mode. But
Mm.
within 2 minutes, I was extremely tired when I went out that day, and I was still fighting an illness that's been hanging on to me for dear life from July, but it's
Mhm.
losing the battle finally. But when you gave me that, 2 minutes later, I thought, is it me? Is it my eyes? Suddenly, I kind of felt very aware, very awake without being buzzed. It was just suddenly aware and capable of sitting out the rest of that 5 hour experience at that bookstore that day. Yes, it was really
Yeah.
entertaining.
Special
And so,
acknowledgement. to Sister Monique at Nicholas Bookstore for holding sacred space. Special acknowledgement to Kofunya. She's going to come on and make announcements if that's okay. All right.
Of course.
Let
The
me
more
send
the
her the
merrier.
link.
You did say it was a party, right?
It's a
There's
party,
going to be a
y'all.
party. Let's
It's
do
a
it.
party. So let me send to Kofunya the link for the program tonight, because I know that you have vocal capabilities, and so said she, but you're the focus of tonight's show. So I was like, okay, let me clear it with you first before I send it to Kofunya, because she's a expressive pretty cat, Leo.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's so
Yeah,
nice not to be so, you know how alone it feels when you're in that category all by you're lonely, surrounded by endless people that just don't get you. And then you move over somewhere, whatever the reason, nothing is a coincidence. You
yeah.
move over in another area south of the border, and you come across all these amazing cavalcade of characters that are just full of life, and the vibes were so I was high just on the vibes, and
That was
yours
incredible.
specifically was like, and he's not chained down. It's amazing.
Yeah, that was. I got to give salutations to uh brother King Simon, because he put together, whether he realized it or not, he put together like a it was like a
It was.
it was like a happy orgy of people. It was a
Yeah,
happy orgy.
yeah.
It really was. So we appreciate that, brother King. You put together some amazing shows.
And if there
Uh
was anybody that was that was there, maybe one or two, by the time he or others talked with them, I noticed the shift in vibe, which was like, wow, look at this. And I felt it the whole time. It was amazing. I didn't want to come back, tell you the truth.
okay. Hey, listen. Tell us. I was talking with brother King, and I told him how amazing, and we just clicked right away, family. Minute
So
Sherane
you're a
walked in the door, it was
Sagittarius.
like,
Dare I say that you're a Sagittarius?
heck yeah. November 25. And I got a skin suit celebration of 66 revolutions around the sun, at least in this present here and now. So, I ain't worried about it. Like Wanda Sykes say, after 50, you don't give a oop. You don't give a
And
damn.
when you're a Sagittarius, you're so amazingly nice. People can't believe it's real.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
kind of world we're in.
I've been known for that. Oh, he's just
Yeah.
too nice. Do you know what he did? He is just too nice.
A number of people I know that are Sagittariuses, and well, unfortunately, a lot of people can't believe that they're real. They have such there is like a positivity that immerses from their heart, and it almost seems like an innocence. And people think, no, they got to be faking it. There's something behind that. My mother was an earth angel, and she had that. Well, people believed it. They couldn't help it with her. But I know a few Sagittarians where it was always questions like, is that person really like that? Tell us the truth.
Yeah.
What's their angle?
Are
What's
they
their
faking
humor?
it? Are they just freaking it? Straight talk. They'll be calling us. They be calling us everything under the sun.
Yeah.
Special
Yeah. And they'll
acknowledgement.
wait. Some of them will wait patiently to see if the mask slips. But in many cases, the Sagittarius is a Sagittarius.
Red Fox,
It's
Richard Pryor, Bruce Lee, Frank Sinatra, just to name a few. Dr. Sabi,
wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Sagittarius, November 26th, Dr. Sabi. King Simon would know more because he has numbers in his head like a numbers man.
I know.
Him in special acknowledgement to
I
King Simon
know.
and Lloyd Strayhorn. They do numbers like if they was a numbers runner, they wouldn't need no paper. They would have all those numbers rolling around in their head. They wouldn't get busted. They don't have no evidence.
When I get somebody's phone number, I have to ask them 7 times. Okay, it's 241. Okay, what's that? After 2? 41. What's after 4? until the number is completely filled in. Me and numbers, not necessarily. And yet I can add like nobody's business.
Wow.
It's really weird.
Sophia Renee, I got your piece ready. I got your shipping label ready. So I'm going to send your goodies because you've been very patient for your freebie. And I wanted to make sure that it was energetically matching your divinity. Sherine, tell us a little bit where you was born from. You know, do you fly at night in your dreams? Tell us who you are, baby.
Actually, I did that last night. I did that last night, and that was kind of surprising because that hasn't
Wow.
happened in a while. I won't go into details on it because it was a little frightening to discuss, and I'd rather not. I'd rather keep it on a happy and pleasant note. I mean, I literally grew up from a child. Every single night I dreamt, and every single night it was nightmares to the point where I was, it didn't affect me. It was like, isn't that natural for everybody? They were all nightmares. Oh, great, amazing nightmares. That could be screen written into Twilight Zone or Night Gallery or one of those things. But I just grew up thinking that was normal. And then in the 20s, it kind of stopped. And I didn't actually dream for a long while. And then started up again later on in life, but
Wow.
not there though, not in
Wow.
that way. But
Girl,
yeah,
I be
last night was
flying.
a pretty wild run there.
I be flying, especially when I'm gonna bring myself up a little more now. Hold on. I be flying when I got the family, when I put my beads on. Let me tell you, these are jet boosters.
Notice this? Does this look familiar?
Oh yeah. What's it been like wearing that? Tell us about it.
Well, as I said, every time I put it on, if anything, I get a vibe of the person who gave it to me. That's what I get. I
Ooh.
know I was supposed to feel something else, but this just clouds everything. That's how I feel. I'm like, I wonder how he's doing. Or I smile, or yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's it. But I mean that J thing, that's that's like physically kind of tastes chocolatey too, but yeah.
What
Yeah,
tastes
it's
chocolatey? What's that?
that J, what was it? J, that powder.
Oh, you talking about the Y power.
The Y, here I'm calling it J. Very nice. Okay.
That's very tantric of you, woman. That's very tantric of you. That can happen to us male species taking that Y power. Not only it's almost like uh I speak with the inventor, the happy, mad, glad scientist that put it together. And he says sometimes he gets testimonies of men getting so stiff it's almost skin splitting. And
From this
women,
same product?
same product, and women become juicy. Kofunya, we already sent you on your cell phone, Kofunya, your link to come in. So stop laughing in the background. Get a hold of your stomach and come join us, please.
Who the heck is that?
Kofunya is the one who's going to come on here and tell us about upcoming events. She was there
Okay.
at Nicholas. And then also King Simon has an open invitation because this is
Oh
a
yeah.
party tonight. So, yeah, I love out of body travel. I love flying dreams. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
amazing. You know, I
Well,
met,
I
tell
mean,
us more.
no, I was just gonna say, I don't know if Simon had mentioned it. These are things that's happened throughout my journey.
Yes.
And a lot of, I guess, in this genre, mystical, spiritual, celestial, intercelestial
Uh,
experiences from I was a child up. Some were very scary, especially for a child to experience. And
mm,
as from what I know and remember, I was, although I don't believe in the numbers game in that respect, when I was the number 17, that's when I finally grew some kahunas and sent a lot of evil shit packing. Oh, did I say shit?
ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You can say that. You can say that. Hmm.
Shit,
Hmm.
shit, shit. Some really big, scary shit
Yeah.
and some little shit. I mean, yeah, from because as a cancer, we're already sensitive to begin with. But something I got from my grandmother who skipped my mother
Wow.
was, I think they call that, well, I was like a medium, an antenna for spirits. And
Mm.
that might sound lovely and glorified on the Ghost Whisperer and television shows like that. But for a small kid, 5, 6, and up, wasn't like that at all.
I had a
It
friend who was like
was
that at early childhood. He would talk to angels. Angels would talk to him. His name is Radar. I used to call him Radar. And his mom would try to beat the gift out of him. So she took him to the school dean. And the dean was like, "Oh, you talk to angels?" And he said, "So," and he's in third grade when this happened. He said, "So what did I do last night, little boy?" And then he got
oh, here we
quiet
go.
and he said, "Angel told me that you couldn't satisfy your wife." And the dean, third
Oh,
grade.
should I knock off my mute?
You can cough it up. Cough it up.
Should I, should I nuke my mic?
No, no, no. We're having a good time tonight.
Oh my God.
So he,
Yeah. So how long did he last in school?
he's still around. He's still around. Yeah, he's still around.
Okay. All
And
right.
when I had my housewarming here on the Parkway, he had his back turned to the crowd, and he would read them with his back turned to the crowd as they came down the hallway. And when he finished the reading, he would look at them, turn around and look at them. And he would do this consecutively. So yeah, girl, Sherine, goddess Sherine, we're gonna start a fire up in here, up in here.
You know, it's funny because as you mentioned, your friend, the way it worked for him, but I was not, I mean, I was, if you want to call that a gift. I mean, I'm also an empath, but that hasn't been a gift for me at all. That has been a nightmare, but
Well,
I'm trying to, I'm trying to deal with it now at this stage as opposed to growing up. Just I mean, what you were saying about your friend, I'd be walking down the street and pass a couple, and they would look at me as I'm passing, and they're walking behind me, and I can feel something is going on, and then I start to smile because I realize one of those two behind me has the gift. And sure enough, they say, "Excuse me," kept, a couple of steps ahead, and I turn around and I'd smile because I knew it was coming. My girlfriend, she says that you have the gift. You're special. And I smile and say, "Really? Yeah, thank you." I didn't know whether to thank her or thank them or start crying. But it happened a lot. It happened in weddings where somebody, a guest, would just kind of sneak over to me while they're doing the speeches and smile and kind of crawl up on me and say, "You have the gift, don't you?" And I mean, I've heard that growing up, but it's not something that I've nurtured. It's just, it is what it is. And I do know that what I have down pat is the empathy. I mean, if somebody's talking to me, whether it's on the phone or I'm looking at them directly in their face while they're telling me, I feel their pain, and
what,
then I'll start crying. It's
what about their
awful.
bliss? Do you feel their bliss
Oh,
too?
that's why I love parties. That's why I love people that um are more positive than anything. Just
Speaking of
Saturday, we
positive,
went to a friend of
Charane, your
mine's party.
cousin, your
Pardon?
cousin, your cousin's on the screen up here. Welcome, King Simon.
Hi, Simon.
Wepa,
What the hell is that?
wepa.
I told you it's gonna be a party, Charane.
I was at a party on Saturday, and my poor friend who had put it on, when we got in, it seemed like we were the party. And people kind of felt a little awkward. There's like maybe 10 people in all, including the hostess. And I turned around and I said to this lady that came up to me, "Oh wow, it's kind of quiet." I said, "I'm sure it'll pack up, but you know what? I'll have a party in a closet rather. I can have a party anywhere. Give me the right music, the right sound frequency, and
Yeah.
the right vibes from people around me. Oh my God. It's
Mm.
like, oh, I feed from that. I feed like a vampire, but only not that emotional vampire. I'm talking about, I feed off of people's happiness. Their laughter gets me, smiles, all of that kind of stuff.
What
And
about
I
what you
was
bring?
feeling that.
What kind of bliss do you bring to the party, Charane? Because I didn't feel you reading nobody. I saw you being a colorful waterfall, effervescent bliss coming through the door, and I was like, "Come on, sit right here. Come sit down right here." So I want to acknowledge you, King Simon, for bringing a party to the party.
Well, This is who I am. Simon will confirm. I can't help it. I'll try to walk into a place, especially if I don't know anybody. I'll try to dim on down, but it seems like I could be wearing a bed sheet over my head, or a garbage bag and hide in a corner. But
You
people
can't
just,
hide. Why? Who,
yeah,
who, who tried to indoctrinate us to hide? Where did that come from?
haters, and people that don't
Ooh,
understand you, people that don't
ooh.
understand, people that are different from their a child. I mean, I had all of that. I won't go into that. That's also rather,
Broken
but
hearts, wounded souls try to hide, huh?
well, you don't want to, at least at a certain point and at certain places, you don't want to ruffle feathers. And apparently, as I've learned this year, the line I have is, um, some people's spirits agitate other people's demons, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Nothing you can
So
do
you can
about
either
that.
walk away. Unfortunately, a lot of them will come for you, and you
This,
haven't done them anything, and
Sherine,
you don't understand why. But
yogis
other
do that
people,
all the time. Yogis do that, and they don't get flustered. They're like, listen, you got to work it out. But yogis come to New York City, and their energy is so high that they speed up the audience's chakras. And then if they got issues, they start screaming and hollering. And then the yogi sits in his lotus position at the front of the stage, and then the assistants drag the person out of their rabbit ass minds to the hallway. Look at King Side. Look at your cousin.
that
Look, he
that
look
is
like he
actually.
look like Stevie Wonder. Sherine, look at your cousin above you. Look.
He is. Now you see, humor and funny runs in the family. This one,
Go
he
ahead,
was
testify. Oh
he
boy.
was born like that. He was born
Wow.
like that. We just saw. I won't go into how far, when he was a little gem, but he's he's been, for as far as I'm concerned, he's he is multi-talented. There is nothing that this guy doesn't turn around and look at and make it his sudden passion, and he does not excel at. And whereas, sometimes family, doesn't recognize, or they're in their own little planet. But then, you, you have jazz hands over there.
There you go.
I'm the head detective. I'm the head detective from In Living Color.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
It's funny you should say that. I was thinking of when you had the rose between your teeth. I was
Yeah,
thinking of Jim Carrey,
Jim
where he
Carrey.
was wearing that yellow hat, and I
Got
can't
Jim
remember what he
Carrey.
was, but he was like this colorful cartoon
Yes.
character.
He was playing the mask.
The Mask. That's what I thought of.
Ah.
Yeah.
Mira, ¿qué pasa? Vente.
Oh my God. Honestly, it's a party with Simon, whether you want one or not.
Mm. Oh, I see that,
Really.
brother. I
Yeah.
And
see that.
and I see tonight he's brought his Rip Taylor bag of tricks.
Oh yeah,
Yes, I got to shower. Shower.
I got them all over my bathtub, brother.
Wash the assets.
I magnetize the assets.
Got to
Mhm.
magnetize the assets.
Yeah.
Pause.
Let me that magnet, Charane, magnet family. Listen, what King Simon has magnetizes water to restore youthfulness in the
Yes.
cells.
I put my water on top of it at every show when I'm drinking on my tea, and I'm drinking and I have it right there. Thank you,
That's
Unc,
right.
for I have a lot of Unc's old stuff that he used to make with tourmaline and all kinds of stuff from back in
Listen
10
to
years
this.
ago.
So now I know the secret why you still look like a baby. I have pictures of Simon that
Oh
if
wow,
you
go ahead.
pitch it up to him today, you're gonna say this guy's a warlock or something's going on.
Yes, I'm Dorian Gray. Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
Simon Gray. Dorian's Gray brother from another mother, the black one. Yes. Yes.
And you know
Well,
what? I think you and Brother King is onto something, because I notice the people who they embrace and freely share their happiness and their bliss, they seem to live beyond time.
Yes.
They don't age the same way people like hold on to being angry at the mailman or the milkman or some other situation, they don't age. They're just like they're like supernaturally above mini mind crap. How did you manage, Sherine? How did you manage, Brother King? Y'all got something in your bloodline, like Donald Duck. I don't give a.
Well, Simon's tired of hearing me ask him all the time because he's really, he surpasses me by leaps and bounds. I mean, for me here, in Montreal, I'm somewhat known, and if I don't see people for a long period of time, when they do see me, they bug out and like, my God, you haven't aged, you haven't changed. But trauma, yeah, that'll do it. That'll do the trick. I mean, in my mind, I've aged visually in the last 2 years because of an incident that I won't discuss right now, because this is happy moments, happy thoughts. And I'm coming back. And I swear nothing is a coincidence. I keep saying it. I'm going to say it until you guys are going to get annoyed with me. But from I went down, it doesn't matter the reasoning why I went to New York. That 10 days turned me around. And honestly, I felt so revived, even with your why power.
Yeah, that means it's activating your yummy. That's what Y stands for. Yummy.
Ah,
The
well, that
kafunya.
came in days after a mixer Simon took me to, and I said, "Is this possible that what's happening here? I don't remember Brooklyn like this." And then when I started to intermix with my people, they were on such a high plane. I was jumping and giddy. I was giddy. That's what I was. I was giddy. I didn't want the night to end because I know
Mm.
I was coming back to a place where there's only a handful of us that are positive like that, at least around me.
What-
And that kind of made me want to stay where I was. I do have a handful of people here that God has introduced me to.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and for again, nothing's a coincidence. People came out of nowhere uh, when a trauma happened. And even before that. And I call one girl Mrs. Nicey. I just can't stop calling her Mrs. Nicey. I bypass her actual name and call her, "Oh, how's Mrs. Nicey?" She's listening tonight. She knows who she is. And other
Mm.
people have said the same thing. It's almost eerie. And no, she's not a
Wow.
Sagittarius,
Wow.
but it's almost eerie how nice she is. I mean,
And
I'm
she
a nice
probably don't
person,
look
but
her
I'm not my
age.
mother.
Does she look her age, Sherine?
No, as a matter of fact, I was invited to her surprise birthday party, and it's only when I saw, because I don't ask age, I don't ask all of that, because it's an ugly manipulation of the mind that
Yes,
will
it is.
treat you according to a number. I mean, if we're gonna go numbers, I recognize. I mean, I was the number 10 when a dean from university asked my mother if they could give me an IQ test. They did.
Whoa. Try
I
to put
took
a
it and
number
then
on you.
ran out to play with my friends. But I just thought it was a series. I loved puzzles and quirky questions, and unbeknownst to me, that was an IQ test, and it I guess marked me at 160. Now, I wouldn't necessarily take that number and run with that, but I did realize and recognize that my peers, and I related to them as a 10-year-old, but I also related to a lot of adults, and certain things that I would perceive seemed beyond the norm, I suppose. And so for me, with the whole, how old are you before you start interacting with the person, is almost like asking, so what do you do for a living, before they decide how they treat you. If you say you're a janitor, oh, that's nice.
Oh,
Excuse
I
me.
love saying that.
You
Sherine,
know,
let me
you're
tell
a
you.
CEO.
Listen, I'm around a bunch of millionaires up here on the parkway, and they do not wear their assets on their shoulders.
Exactly.
They wear
I
short
found that
sleeve
out in
t-shirts.
cons
I'm
in south of
surrounded.
France. Yeah,
I'm
they
surrounded with
don't. They
millionaires,
dress.
and
They
they do
wouldn't
not
know.
wear their assets on their shoulders. They look
No.
like they wear the same denims and t-shirt, And Billy Bob doesn't change his clothes till once a month. But they're millionaires.
I experienced that in the south of France many years ago, and I realized, so the ones that I have here in Montreal that run around on a certain street where, you know, you have to be like, to get into these clubs, a lot of them are faking.
It's pretentious.
Yeah.
Cafonia, welcome to this party. Sherine, you remember Cafonia, don't you?
Yes. Hi,
Oh,
Leo girl.
Hi,
Leo
greetings.
girl.
Pretty young thing, meet pretty young thing.
Oh,
Hi.
wow. Hi.
Greetings, King Simon. Greetings to the family.
Greetings.
Hey.
Greetings to you too.
She was there. She was running around because Cafonia, you know, she's, let's just say anatomically, she got a lot of caboose energy running around Nicholas. Bang, 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 bang.
Don't believe the hype.
No.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you
pretty
saw her.
hyped when I spoke to you recently, you were pretty hyped.
I was?
I mean, like right through.
Oh, yeah, because I was channeling some messages for you. So I get like that. But normally I'm low key.
You know what they say?
Like that as in I was responding and reacting so much. It's like I drown everybody else out because you're giving me so much, and some of it I'm processing as, how does she know that? And the other you know, the other
how does she know?
You know, yeah, that's right. And
it was great seeing you and speaking with you, and you know, we definitely have to have you come forward again, you know. And King Simon, well, what can I say about King Simon?
For real.
All I could say is that he's a beautiful human being, and I welcome him into my world as well as he welcomes me into his.
He's not beautiful. He's a magician, a mixed master.
An alchemist.
He's an alchemist. Yo, he would ride the streets of Brooklyn. He would make Jehovah's Witnesses look weak compared to the way he did marketing. He would blow red lights on his bicycle. Yeah. Tell him, King Simon. And he would.
I didn't know about all of that.
Oh yeah, he ain't no beautiful. He's a speeder. He be riding. He be riding, Cafonia. That's why all his events be blowing up.
Yeah, he's amazing human being. And you know, when he invited me to be a part of his events that he does in Brooklyn, I felt welcome. You know, your gifts will make room for you, and I'm just very thankful for that situation. You know, same with Uncle Hanky.
Speaking of situation, what you got cooking at Nicholas? Because I got flyers up here.
Oh, okay. All right. So
what's this all about? Hey,
okay.
Charane,
what's it all about?
Oh my God. She
oh
my God.
What happened?
Why am I even here? You can do it for me, hon, because that song you just sang was on my tongue.
Really?
And before I could roll it out, you
oh my God. You can't make this up.
Oh my God, this
is
crazy.
Can't make it up. So anyway, happening on November 9th, we have Inkaru, which is happening this coming Saturday. He's a silversmith. He's a hydrologist. He's a timekeeper. He's going to be doing a free workshop, and he's pulling out all of the stops talking about why we should incorporate silver in our lives, which is the frequency of the Most High, and also how we can accumulate our wealth. That's happening this Saturday from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then on the 16th, we have the 9 realms of being with Nihi Na. Is that how you pronounce her name?
Nah, Cafonia, we're going to have to take you off the stage on that one. No, it's real simple. It's Nikina.
Oh, Nikina. Sorry. All right. Nikina. Sorry. 1,000 apologies.
You went too deep with it.
Yeah.
I was busting it up. I'm sorry.
And Kafunya, remember to tell them about this one over here on the left.
I am. Let me get there. And then Black Friday event is being hosted by Uniquely Wired. It's a shopping party.
Ooh,
And it's going to be happening on Black Friday. The date will be announced shortly. And then moving into Sagittarius. Oh God, you're having a big party coming up on December 7th. And King Simon can tell you about the magic of the number 7. But it's an open mic jam session with a live band hosted by Sister Simone, Noel Simone, and Nicholas Brooklyn. And, Brother Hassan will be there on the ones and two. That's a party ain't a party if we not there. So make sure you come there on December 7th. And it's from 1 to 10 p.m. And then on the 14th, we're having Haru come forward for part 2. And you know what to do with that. And on the 15th, we're having some special avatars. We're not going to announce it yet, but it's going to be huge.
I'm glad you mentioned that about Brother Haru. Listen, Brother Simon, Sister Charane, I'm going to go get the bottle. Kafunya, I just had my bottle delivered today.
Oh, good.
Listen, that stuff will give you an exorcism in your plumbing.
I'm telling you.
I almost fainted on the parkway. I only took
Really?
Yeah, I had to fall back on the wooden bench. I was like, whoa, this was some strong stuff. I took it and stuck it in my hair. It's concentrated olive leaf extract.
Yes.
And his website, family, is full of documented testimonial miracles, Sherine.
Was it you? Because when you said that olive leaf, I heard this recently, but was it from you or?
I might have been. King Simon, what's that you got there, brother?
His wand.
That's my Ethiopian staff.
Wow.
Oh, let me go bring out mine.
Oh, geez, let me bring out.
You going to go get hers too?
Go ahead. Bring out my fan. That's all I got. Sorry.
That's funny. Listen, I got to go get the bottle. I'll be right back. I want to show y'all what this looked like. I took a sip with my lip, and it got inside of me like.
Well, so when you say that, there was I'm kind of curious. When you say raw, was it like one of those bam awakenings?
It was so bitter that it was roaring on my lip. It was so bitter. It was like
aloe vera, the aloe vera juice or leaf?
No.
Oh no.
It's his formulation. It's amazing.
Olive leaf.
No, but when he said bitter,
bitter.
I'm just thinking when you say bitter, I think right away.
Bitter olive leaf extract, and it'll do an exorcism if you got critters. So obviously there must have been a sugar spirit up in my system because they were like, "Run, Forrest, run!" I'll be right back.
Wow.
I love your staff, King Simon.
I'm looking for something because I have a horrible addiction to sugar.
Oh, you just need to stop eating it.
I beg your pardon. That's the kind of show we're on. I would assume that's not that type of show we're on, Simon.
Stop eating that sugar. You leave it alone. Don't worry. Hey. But I'm glad that I like the staff that you have there. What's that? That's a crystal staff, isn't it?
Yeah, this is selenite.
Wow.
This is selenite and amethyst.
That's nice. That's nice.
Hey, wow. I have not seen a crystal object like that.
I live on a crystal called Stone Mountain.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, I live on a quartz crystal. Yes. Olive leaf.
Yes.
Oh wow. Oh, it's pill form or powder form?
Liquid.
Liquid. Oh, liquid.
And you got to shake it up because it's slimy and bitter.
That's good. Olive leaf is strong, yo.
Yeah.
I think he boiled this down like he was making some ayahuasca or something, you know?
Right? Because even when Star takes it, he says, "Oh, Cafunia, this is working."
Listen, I felt the energy from this stuff, and I didn't even take a half a cap. It says take a half a cap of this. I took a sip, and it felt like it was going through my brain. And I was sitting in the sun on the parkway. Yo, don't family. I'm gonna tell you now. Take it with some juice or something. Take it with apple
Or
juice.
water.
Sherine, take it, cut it with some water, because we don't realize how we are literally living nests for the cooties.
I'm very aware.
Yeah,
And cooties like
Oh, yeah.
sugar.
Yeah.
they do.
If she said they do. Listen,
Well, I mean,
family.
sugar is, I mean, this thing
That's why you got
controls minds. I mean, I remember years back getting up in the middle of the night in the winter time here. And
She's so
I
beautiful.
had to pause because I know what everybody thinks of when they think of Montreal, Canada, Quebec, up north. But I would get up and look for change in bowls, or where people would come and drop money or whatever, just looking in to get change, to run across the street to the all night, what we call dépanneur. I think you guys call it. Help me out here, Simon.
I don't have an idea what you're talking about.
The dépanneur is like the place where people will run in the middle of the night to buy, I don't know, cigarettes, drinks, whatever.
Oh, the bodegas.
Bodegas, and we call it dépanneurs. And I'd run there and buy these big 40-ounce bottles of like cream soda and all that stuff. And I was like plummeted. I was compelled to drink it. And I'd get back in the house and and I would, oh my God, this vibe that I would get when I was finished. And then, I realized this was getting stupid. This was really getting ridiculous. So I said, okay, I don't like anything to rule me. So I'm going to stop. At least for a while, I'm going to go cold turkey. Yeah. In 4 days, I went through some serious changes. The first day that I didn't, because I was drinking this stuff every day, maybe 2 bottles. And then I went to 0, cold turkey. And the first day, I had an office that didn't have an elevator in the building. So it was 12 flights of stairs that, I used to. And I could barely make it up the stairs that first day. The second day, it was mood swings. And I had business meetings. And I'd be sitting there like this, talking with people. And, excuse me, going to the ladies' room. And I go in the bathroom and flush my face with water because I'm crying for no apparent reason. Just I was going through all, and I didn't realize that this was like what you call when you're on drugs, a withdrawal.
Yeah.
The third day, oh my God, what was the third day? I just remember that the last day I had a friend of mine over. She was at my office and I was sitting there talking to her, and I could barely stay awake. It was terrible. And she was leaving, but she still kept talking. And a few of my other coworkers were there. And I'm sitting there on the front couch in the front room, and I'm looking at her. And then I thought I blinked, but I must have closed my eyes. And then I woke up to everybody laughing and freaking out because I was doing this on the couch. That was I was having a seizure, my last form of the soda pop. On the 4th day, and they were looking at me bopping up and down it was crazy. And so ever since then, I'm really, really, really careful. If I decide one day, 8 months or 6 months down the road, to have a soda, like a, what do you call that, cola champagne, one of those West Indian island drinks, I will sip it and put it in the fridge. And I'll make that bottle last me, if not 2 weeks, even though it's as flat as ever. And then I'm good, but
You can make your own.
I really don't. I'm trying hard. I mean, candy binges, I could go on, and it's terrible. When I say terrible, I understand what crackheads feel.
Right.
I've never done drugs in my life, but that.
Olive leaf. Get the olive leaf.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you now, family. This is my second chance. I'm gonna mix it with my Kinka Libra in my cup. I'm gonna put a little bit in, and if I start acting out, it wasn't me. Especially now with the Shaggy.
Okay, Shaggy, right?
Well, I'm gonna put a little bit. I'm only gonna put a little bit in my tea. Here's my tea. It's King Kaliba, Seha. And I already muscle tested, like if it's okay. Because you don't want to overwhelm your body for getting
Right.
an exorcism. And that's
Well,
what
when
it
you
is. It's
gave
an
me that
exorcism.
Y powder, yeah, that kind of overwhelmed me because you gave me a little bit and I was waiting. I said, maybe I should wait. And then you gave me some more. And then I was like this. And I was right on to everything. Well, Simon was absolutely informative and entertaining at the same time.
So
Let's
listen,
let's
the Y
experiment
power.
now and let's watch how this.
Oh, listen. This is the Y power. Now, this is the youth formula, but you don't want to make the critters inside your body young either. So this is the regeneration formula,
Right.
but this is the exorcism formula.
Yeah.
This is the kill the cooties.
No, I would go for that for sure.
This is the kill the cooties, and then this is the youth formula. Hey, King Simon, have you ever had Dr. Jennifer Daniels on your show?
No, I watch her. I bought her book on the turpentine book.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
because
put
I
turpentine.
use turpentine. I have turpentine.
Wow.
When you want to get it out and cleanse it, turpentine. But you got to use it in small doses. You can't just
Yeah.
throw it down your throat like it's all okay. They say we spoke about turpentine years ago too. But turpentine, few drops in my tea sometimes when I had agave in it, or on top of a sugar cube. Hey, you want the parasite to go towards the sugar, and the turpentine kills it, and then those cooties will come out your booties. That's right.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Cooties will come out your booty.
Well,
That's
it's so that's cute. That should be the title of your next.
my next book.
That's funny.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah,
But my mother and I went in 2012 to Cuba. She always wanted to go, and I guess from Montreal it's easy access back and forth. We went in March, where we were warned don't go in March by a woman that came out of nowhere when we were in Santo Domingo. And we heard her and we were like, wow, that was strange, because then she just left and nobody saw her on the resort for the rest of the time. She just came and sat down and said that to us. If you're going to go to, anyways. And she says, and if you do go, don't go from dusk till dawn on the beach. My mother and I went in March the next year. While my mother was sleeping, I went with some Quebecers that I met at the bar. They were talking and they said, oh, let's go watch the sunrise. Not thinking at all of that warning, and went on the beach. And I think I was the only one that picked up whatever they call them no-see-ums, which is a family. They're akin to dust mites and mosquitoes. I think they're all arachnid type.
Damn.
And this thing attached itself, but you don't see them with the naked eye. They have to be magnified 8 times for you to see what they really look like. And then you think you're in some kind of Jurassic Park when you see what they really look like. I mean, dust mites and their cousins, these no-see-ums. I brought them on.
That sounds like something off
I
Star
brought them
Trek.
back to the hotel room, the motel room. And then when we left, we came back home. It happened that summer that Montreal had the highest form of humidity in the history of Montreal. So those little critters that would normally die off on their trip back not only survived, but they mixed up with their cousins, the dust mites. And my mother and I, and later on, we would find that a lot of people were going through this hell in Montreal. They became super mites. And whatever it was that was in our system, when you breathe out, you could be walking in the dollar store or wherever, and these things, dust mite types, they would fly. You could feel them crawling in your hair. You could feel it was the most creepiest experience. And we went to the hospital. We tried to talk to people. They thought we were nuts, until the fall, when you started to see the displays in pharmacies with this big thing about dust mite busters. And I'm not going to go into a whole detail, but a friend of mine whose children were like little scientists, one of them called me to say their mother had told them what was happening to us. And ironically, what got rid of them for me was oregano oil.
Oh,
When
yes.
you talk about
Ooh.
this thing that you're holding and talking about removing, I know that there are, yeah, I'd like to try that because,
Listen,
you know, I was
Kepera.
feeling the dust mites in New York for the first 3 days when I was in New York because my immune system was low and I was already fighting something. And so yeah, and then as I built up my immune system, I didn't feel the dust mites anymore, but I was the only one there that was feeling it. My aunt, his mom was like, what the hell is going on with you? Nobody felt it but me, and I was like, this can't be happening. I thought I got rid of this shit years ago.
I was sleeping.
Anyways, yeah.
I was
You
sleeping.
still had him?
Yeah.
Well, no, they come back. It's not that they go away ever, because as you know, dust mites lives with us. As human beings, they live with us, and the understanding is that they'll eat the dead cells that fall off of your body when you sleep at night, so you don't have to buy new sheets every 4 months, and we'll let them live in our man-made environment because they cannot survive in the outside. The
Girl, you
extreme
gotta let
cold
them
will
meet
kill
your
them.
best friend, like in Scarface. Meet my friend. I'll reduce that threat.
Say hello to my little friend.
Say hello to my little friend. And that's
Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. I don't know if they sell that here, but I
no,
mean,
the website is at the bottom. And Kepra, look at the ticker tape at the bottom of the screen, rolling in white letters. It says herbalresults.net. You see it?
but I can't see shit.
Oh, hold on a second. Don't shit yet. Hold on.
I wouldn't mind that either. I'm not
Listen, here it comes
opposed to
right now.
that.
Look. Here it comes, Sherine.
How
Herbalresults.net.
can I get this thing bigger?
Um, watch the recording later.
Okay, as I mess up, that's great.
No, you ain't mess up. Gods can't mess
Yeah.
up. It's all a dream.
Okay, hold on. Let me get you back on this because everybody suddenly I was only seeing chins.
Yeah,
All
we see
right.
you. Yo, brother King, what you got cooking in Atlanta, man? What's it like in Atlanta, bro? Tell us something.
Atlanta. I just returned to Atlanta. I just got back off of a nice little trip from New York, and then I went to Pennsylvania to help somebody move down here to Georgia. And I was driving the U-Haul truck, so I'm back in Atlanta enjoying life. And I was on Brother Richard's show last night, and we had a good time last night. And let me see, we got something cooking coming up towards the new year. So we got something cooking big with Black Magic 363. Got some workshops, going to be doing some private workshops with Dr. Shakira Moore and possibly with the color therapist, color curiosity therapist. So we looking at that, looking at a few things. Also, I'll be on Paris's website, her podcast next on the 21st. So look out for Paris Williams. I'll be on with her. And we got something cooking with Healing Hoods too, with Tamika. Want to do a play with her. There's something.
Oh, she is fun, bro. Special
Yeah.
acknowledgement to Tomika.
Yeah, I want
She's
to.
listening now, I think.
She's in the line now, yeah. But I want to produce a play. I want to start producing one man or one woman plays next year. So, but it's going to be more informative than probably a lecture, or not a lecture, but more therapeutic counseling from the stage. And of course, the vendors are going to be around. I'm going to do it in New York and do it in Georgia. I'm going to work between those two places because those are the two meccas for Black conscientious consciousness. I don't call it the conscious community anymore. It's conscientious conscious community. If you're not conscientious of what you do, you're not conscious.
There's a few of them in Montreal that's coming up now, Simon. I told you about that group. They call themselves the Sistren, but there's a number of them that are really seriously trying to do what you guys are doing naturally in New York now. I mean, trying to help further progress the Black community and help the youth and help, just we're playing catch up, perpetual catch up to you guys. And because of it, in many cases, it's been my experience that it's still kind of like that crab in a barrel type of thing.
Mm.
It's the cooties.
But
It's the cooties. They
there
got
are
the
a few
cooties.
in there that are really genuinely, and I feel them. I can feel them. I know who they are, and they really are trying to bring awareness, conscientiousness. And we have gone backwards. We used to have a black store, I'm told, in an area downtown. It's gone, and there are no black bookstores. So I mean, there are people that can work on that. um each one, in the business of the movie business and stuff, where that's my thing, in the entertainment business. But I've been kind of out of the loop of late, gone but not forgotten.
And you ain't missed
And
nothing.
and what I
Sherine,
want to do, as I told you, I want to bring a lot, because I bought some property. I call it Paradise, All Angels Paradise. I want to bring events up here of the spiritual nature, mystic nature, the Zen. I have one Zen room that has machinery and chairs and certain things that can align. Like we have a bed that's from Japan that aligns your spine. It's amazing. But I'm all over the place. I just want to say that we're trying to bring from the States, I have to say, from New York, because that's where you guys are here right now. We have a few of them, they're coming up here. And I just want to elevate it and help bring that kind of a progression, I suppose, to Montreal, because there's a lot of us here. A lot
Yeah,
of
well,
us are
I ain't coming
lost.
until it's summertime.
I know a friend of
I
mine
ain't going to
also
no
was.
Montreal. Yo, King Simon, I like that flower of life behind you, man.
oh,
Yeah, it's
thank
a
you, sir.
nice backdrop, eh?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. The flower of life. Yes, I said let me get rid of the board since I'm not using it right now. I don't
Yo,
use
I
them.
got the flower of life on the crystal. Look.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
That's nice. That's nice there. I like that one. That's a
See,
nice.
all these things I'm learning here tonight.
You're
And,
remembering.
Right. Remembering. Yes. Recall. The recall. And
You didn't forget nothing. You
and
don't learn, you remember.
but Sherine, you gotta remind people that a lot of things that her acting agency did. Of course, work with America Against Billie Holiday. I think that was it. Her
it
team
was
was
Billie
on that
Holiday versus, and that was
versus
with what's his name?
Lee
Daniels.
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 Lee Daniels, and you
Lee
work with John.
Daniels. Yeah,
You
my
work.
mother,
You work with
that was
John
the last
Q.
movie she did.
You work with
That's the
John
last
Q.
movie she was
You work.
in.
You work with John Q. Movie. You work with of course the Clara not the Colorado Scott King and the other movie there.
Yes, when that one was filmed here in Montreal. Wow. A lot of people don't know what I've done behind the scenes for my people, and that's okay. Some
Well,
know,
tell
some
us.
choose
Tell
to
us.
ignore.
Tell us.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, and with the Betty and Coretta,
Yeah.
um, I was given that task of filling up the background for the whole movie, because it takes place, of course, with in the black environment, with what happened to, oh my God, these two men that these two wives were involved with. And so
Malcolm X
I
and Martin
gave them
Luther
what they
King.
wanted, but the
Mhm.
night before the first one, the first shot was to be done. It was in the church scene and such. I found out that somehow or another, because it was a more of a black project, 75 cents was removed from the extras basic rate.
Oh, okay.
And when I found out, I was like, now how is that possible, that a movie that talks about people, during the struggle of equality, including equal pay, how is it suddenly that the extras in this movie, even though for the year the background payment was this amount of money, like 11.25, somehow or another I hear that it was going to be like $10 and some change or something like this. And so I told my people to stop calling on the phone, stop calling our people. And I took a chance of losing a huge contract, but I couldn't do it in all honesty. I couldn't do that. Um, and I guess I ruffled some feathers. But it was done. It was changed, and they were paid the right proper payment
Hmm.
for the extras, because I said I can't be involved in something where, and I used Simon. I said, a lot of eyes are watching Montreal, where this black movie, predominantly black movie, is being filmed, and I mean the context of what it is. And I don't want to be the one that people are coming to talk to when they find out that the people were being paid less money. It
So
wasn't
are
the
you a
same.
movie director, producer, writer? What?
I'm an agency. That's the last thing that I became, was an agency, using the name that I had as a Broadway group that I had in the early. Somebody's hit me up. Simon, it's whoops, it's, oh no, what did I do?
You're
Push it
pressed.
again, whenever you pushed.
I don't
Pressed.
know what I did. Oh my god. There we go.
Yeah, Capone does it all the
It's
time. Don't worry
Omari.
about it.
Omari is hitting us up, so he's watching, Simon.
Okay, what's up? What's up? What's up,
Yeah,
Omar? What's up,
yeah.
brother?
And that's another brother that is really, he is ascended into so much about Black history and Black knowledge. It's wow. It boggles the mind where he came from to where he is now in spiritually and all this. But okay, going back, I had an off-Broadway group, and I called it Native New Yorkers. Actually, he was one of them back in the day, kind of Prince look-alike. And as the venue started to die down to perform these shows at, um, some of the people that used to come to the shows, we had our own little group of fans. One of them was what do you call it? A casting agent, the one of the original casting agents in Montreal. And she contacted me and said if she could use a portion of my Native New Yorkers for an American film that was being filmed, and the scene took place on a rooftop. It's supposed to be a New York City party, and the jet set, fun, funky people. So I went. I brought them on there, and including Freaky D, who's a rap artist and all out entertainer. And they had a blast. I mean, it ended about 6 in the morning, but they fell in love with that group because they were all, I mean, I had handpicked them for that Broadway group, and they were all like this. So 4.5 hour rehearsals were like 4 minutes. They had so much fun at the rehearsals. It was a party every day. And I took that vibe and I treated everybody like family, because they were like family to me. And I brought it into when the venues died down, and we had to call it a day. I sort of started booking those people either to make a record, or in the modeling, which I touched briefly because it was different from when I had modeled back in the day. It had changed immensely, and I just didn't like what I was seeing. I didn't want any part of it. People having to wait for over a month to get their pay. How are they going to pay for their rent? It just, the whole thing was crazy. But I concentrated more on like the American films that were now being filmed here because it's cheaper. I just thought I'd put that out there.
It is. Yes, and but it is, but people don't realize. See, this platform that Unc has is a lot of metaphysics, very very spiritual, and there's a lot that goes beyond. It goes behind the movie making. But Terrain, you need to carry them back to when you used to do astral travel.
Oh
You
my
was an
God.
astral traveler.
Yeah.
You and your boyfriend of that time was traveling and meeting each other in different areas back in the
Oh,
day.
he was doing
What?
that stuff. That was
You know,
Thank
different.
you,
That was
King
some different
Simon.
shit that scared the hell out of me.
yeah.
But because we were both going to work, that was outside after, after high school and stuff. And I got my first job. Um, and
She introduced me to tarot and also introduced me to the word Ouija board
we,
back when I
yeah,
was a
but
child.
Oh,
when
you
you're
got to
doing
be
it,
dropping
when
that.
you're
We don't
doing
care
it,
about highly weird. We want to hear about your tarot and out of body sex.
well, there was no sex there, but
She introduced-
I
I had
love
actually
it.
broken up with him because he was a bit abusive, and but we shared the same bus ride to the same job every day because his mother is the one who got me the job. And I saw him coming on the bus, and he went to the back, and I was sitting there and watching him, and then I looked, and
Somebody trying to call her.
Yeah, yeah. I looked and he wasn't there, and so I thought, why would he have gotten off? It's a long ways to get to. Anyways, I get to the job and he's already there, and I was like, how is that even possible? Because there was a second bus you had to take, and then this long walk. There's no way. How did this guy? And later, he would tell me that he could do that kind of stuff. He was
Wow.
highly intelligent. For me, I was, I did a little reading. A lot of it was just, off the cusp. I did a little meditation, but I couldn't stay within myself to, and I started to leave my body, especially at nights.
Mm.
And, and
Thank you, King Simon.
wild.
This
This
is
was
what we want to
amazing that I
hear.
could literally go through the ceiling into the sky, and I was out of bodied. And I
Wow.
don't know if it was from astral traveling or not, but there was a person that would greet me almost every night, and
Wow.
they would ask me questions about, you know, I don't think this cat realizes I'm online. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah.
I love her, King Simon. She's so animated. I love it.
This is the story of her life since I was a
No,
child.
I
it's all
love
been
that.
pretty off keister, but yeah, this person, I remember the name. I remember I was like 12 when that started happening, and she said her name was Stella, which
Mm.
years later I would come to realize that Stella was another word for star. And I remember one place where she took me for me to talk about what was happening and how I felt like I didn't belong here because I just
Mm.
didn't, I wasn't really readily accepted. And it was really strange for me because I feel I had a heart like this big, but then I realized this is like a bad thing because it was just really weird, both in family and supposed friends and the rest. Anyways, I really hated it here.
Right.
When I would tell her about certain things, I remember one day she said, let's go to the Parthenon. And the next thing you know, we're in a tube that in my mind would be like an elevator. Not an elevator.
Mm.
Yes, an elevator, but it was a round tube that we walked into. And when it opened, we were in a Western scene. Nobody was around. And it was just like it was like a theme park. We sat on like a stagecoach, no
Mhm.
horse, but we just sat there and we talked. And there was always like this cool breeze. It was crazy. I mean, I know it happened because it wasn't a one-time thing. And it
Right.
got to the point where first of all, she was translucent. I could see her face and we spoke, but our lips didn't move. And I would
Oh, that
realize
is so cool.
pardon?
That is so cool.
Yeah,
It was,
Hunk, you haven't heard the story about her UFO sightings either.
well, up to now, I'm not too sure if that wasn't it, my earliest. I'm
Hey,
not sure if Stella was just that. And she would ask me questions about what do I think of that? Meaning, if girls were mean or people were mean, and I would be so confused. It didn't make sense. And she would say, and how did you feel when that happened? Like she was asking me questions like she was getting information about this place um, from wherever she was, and up to today, I can't really swear up and down that, I mean, I know what happened. I know she was real, but I don't know if it had to do with extraterrestrials. I really feel it did. And it's a little confusing because I started trying to astral travel on purpose to go there, to
mhm.
be around her. And
A lot, Sherine, a lot of people don't realize that we as spirit beings in this meat suit, we are all
I
extraterrestrials.
call it the vehicle. Yeah.
We are all extraterrestrials. We come here from another place. We ain't just coming from no, the energy is still out there. So we come from another place. We just here terrestrial now. We're here on the terrestrial, but there's something that we come through that womb of mother, and that spirit descends down and becomes something here. But we are all extraterrestrials.
Well, it's funny you're saying that, because the one thing I remember, I was not into politics at all growing up, but the one thing I remember during the Watergate time, these Watergate tapes, apparently on one of the tapes, Nixon is caught talking to, I don't know who it was, but they said he was caught talking to someone, talking about Black people are intelligent beings from another place.
Yeah, that was that big that guy that said he's seen out of the spaceship tall Black men that came out of that. That's one of those tapes that they was also talking about.
Really, I have had experiences from I was young, and I don't know if they have a tag on me, but every time they're ready, they come around, and of course it freaks the crap out of me, because it's not Stella. That's not the experience I had and how I got to see her. I remember how I got there and everything was spiral, and somehow or another I'd be moved to the left. Then it's dark, and then I see a door open, and it's just white and a figure. And she was, I'm sure it was done on purpose so it wouldn't frighten me, because I was 12. So she was about my height, and she had, ironically, pigtails. And there were features, but there was no, she was translucent, like there was no skin. It was the
And you didn't
strangest
have no
thing.
judgment, so that's what was so cool. You didn't judge it when you was 12.
No. But it was around that time that I became very aware. And something the sister said, I guess she's gone now, but something she had said on the phone about I am. And from I was 11, 12, I started writing, I guess, philosophies, observations, I guess you could call it poetry, you could call it, well, whatever you feel comfortable calling it. But I would write these things down. I would wake up and I'd have my book and I'd write it down, because it's always in my sleep.
Lafayette.
Or, and at the end of what I'm saying, I'd always put at the end, I am sad, I am curious, I am whatever. I still have the book, and that I wrote all these things down, but there was a period where I would just write these observations of mankind. And
Did you, Sherine, did you write your life into existence? Would you say that? I mean, because you was one that were as young. What we admire as children is that you were able to talk your way into things and put it out there that you're going to do it, and then you will do it.
I think, when we would do those things, I think it's because we were so creative. That's why you and Nicole fit in so well. Even when we did that crazy tape as kids.
Those who don't know, Nicole is my sister, who used to be the
Sunday Kiss AM.
She used to be on Kiss FM. She was the radio host for Kiss FM Gospel Sunday. Those who know, that's my biological sister.
Wow, blessed be. Blessed
I was
be.
on WWRL. She was on Kiss FM at that time.
That's so cool. It's in the family.
Yeah, well, on this side is Susie Q. On my father's side is Grace Jones. So
oh, Susie Q and Grace Jones. That ain't nothing but a party.
And we've met each other. Ironically, nothing is a coincidence. And only for Simon to say that we're related, which was
we are.
And I met her twice when she did her song La Vie en Rose and came to Montreal to sing.
Yeah.
On TV here, one of the television stations here. And we met. I was a regular dancer on the show that was put together by a gentleman who was the program director for that station. This was in the late 70s. And just in talking to him, I said, this new thing's coming in, and I don't think it's a trend. I think it's really happening, and I think you should consider maybe doing a show like we used to have Like Young in Montreal back in whatever.
Yeah.
And
and
I said,
what's so funny,
or Soul Train, or I said disco. This thing disco is coming in. It's coming in hot. And I think you should have a TV show. And he's one that I lent that cassette tape of what Simon and Nikki and myself and my cousin Jackie, we all did this crazy thing that we did for fun, but it was so ingenious. Um, and I let him listen to it because I used to make him laugh on the phone all the time. And I told him about this thing we did. He fell in love with it. He couldn't believe that this was done by a group of
That's why it's
kids.
important to maintain your childlike attitude in your
Yes.
creative aspect. That's where creativity still
Yes.
lies to stay
And
strong.
that's what I've always been. And I
Mm.
had to create a character to protect that 12-year-old. By
And you have
16, I was I was thrown into the modeling world, and I already had
Sherane.
had such horrible experiences. I had to create a character that would now protect that 12-year-old.
Right.
Sherane.
Yes,
Sherane. There's many people listening right now, and I want you to talk to the children in them and encourage them what you learned, encourage them how to be themselves. Share your wisdom about the importance of staying real in an unreal world.
I don't know if I can. I mean, there's some people that have picked up on what I'm trying to say, and I'm not
Hmm.
a Sagittarius, but some people find me still from youth till now. They don't understand me, and it's not like I'm speaking gobbledygook, but they don't
Give it a
understand how
try.
I could run several businesses. They don't
Mm.
understand, especially back then, they
And
didn't understand why I dressed the way I
please,
did.
please note we were me and her are both high school dropouts.
Yeah, it's sad to say, but I was on probation, and
That's
because a lot of people in the school wanted me out, and I'm not talking the students. There was some female elderly people, older people that were in positions of power that just took one look at me, and I guess my spirit affected their demons enough for them to create a clique, and it took a substitute teacher that called my name in the roll call one day. And when she heard my name, she stopped and she stared at me. And I said, "Uh-oh," because I already knew that something was going on. And these women were gathering momentum with other women teachers. And after class, this woman asked me to help her bring her books to the cubicle. And she sat me down and told me, "Do you know that there is a group of women that are trying to get you out?"
yeah.
That
And
happens all the
she
time.
actually it was it
And
was just so weird. And I was, and I was constantly attacked. And thank God, unlike my mother, my father was a warrior. My mother was a warrior,
Mm.
but a quiet earth angel. It was crazy how she was. But my father, he was 6'7", and he was known to, if you looked at him sideways, he'd rip off your head and shit down your throat. So I basically believe that my mother had me, because a lot of people, especially in my family, thought I was the Antichrist, but I wasn't. I was just outspoken. That's all. I was
that's
outspoken,
Yes.
and I was hated for that. And I had a great relationship with my mother. She was my best friend. She was the sister that I never had. I have one out there, but she is evil incarnate. She did me some horrible things. So I haven't spoken to her
and,
really in.
and let them know, because of your martial arts skills, what happened to the girl that
Well, that's why people would come and say, I want to be the big thing now in school. So I'm going to have to beat somebody to a pulp and, get a name. I think I'll go after the girl with the big hair, the makeup, and differently dressed. Yeah, she looks like an easy mark. I was taking martial arts when I was 11. I started taking mixed martial arts. So it got to a point where I actually welcomed it. I used to laugh and say, I'm my own best decoy. Was that it? Yeah, my own best decoy. Look at me. I'm innocent and sweet. And come on, come for me. And, and
I
eventually
love
what
it.
happened was I was on probation. And well, the
No, tell about the
principal,
whoop ass. Don't cut
well,
that out.
that's basically what happened.
yeah
I stood up for myself when I didn't, I stood up for the underdogs, but
what
everyone
No,
thought
talk
I was
about
the
the whoop
underdog.
ass. We
Sherane,
want to know about the whoop ass.
what happened to that girl's legs?
That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get to. So I was on probation. I was like 3 months left of that hell school to get through.
I love
And
that health
again, as
school.
fate would have it, and I'm going to say fate, but the dark one was busy trying to mess with me. And I was with some girlfriends. We were in a bathroom. Some other girls were from another school. They were terrors, but they came to the school. I was cool with everybody. We were in there, and this woman from another group that didn't look like me, us, came in with her friend, and her friend was terrified when she saw all of the people that looked like me, and said, maybe we'll use the other bathroom. She goes, no, this is my bathroom. I'm going to use it. And I looked and started laughing because I thought, is this girl on a death wish? Why is she? I didn't get it. And she's looking at all these sisters, right? And they're looking at her like, I think they were in shock. And she just kept doing it, kept talking. And her friend said, listen, I'm coming out of this bathroom. I don't want to, you can stay if you want. And she ran. And she said, well, I'm not going anywhere. So two of my friends got into it with her. And I said, I'm on probation. I can't afford this. So she was standing by the door. So I kind of went under her arm outside of the bathroom so that whatever happened after that, I was not a part of it. So I came out, but I was watching from the outside in. She was still standing there. And one of my friends said, move, 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 step off, whatever. And she was like, no, make me, and all this nonsense. And I'm laughing hysterically because I'm looking for cameras. I'm thinking this is candid camera. And even the bad ones that were playing hooky and in our school, they were like this too. Like, okay, what's going on? Is this a setup? Anyways, what happened was somebody pushed her from inside. I can't say it was my friend in particular, but somebody pushed her and she went flying outside and spun and fell on the floor. And I'm just like, this can't be happening. And I'm laughing. And she gets up, looks at me, and decides I'm the one and tries to kick me. And I pulled back, and it was just self-defense. It was my nature kicking in. And speaking of kicking, I broke her kneecaps.
Wow.
With one side kick, and you just heard clack, and she went down.
You even contribute.
And I ran.
I will.
I
Oh.
ran and I ran. I ran so far. And I could remember outside past the football field, and I turned back. My other girlfriends, they ran in other directions. The girls that were in from another school just hanging, they disappeared. Everybody. But you could hear my name like it was gold on the intercom. My name, come to the general office. I was out. And when I was across the field, I look back and I see, so like the counselor and the this and that, and they're waving for me to come back. And I was like this. I acted like they were saying bye. So I was like, bye. I never went back. And it didn't matter because it seemed like it was meant to be. I could say the
You
dark
mean you
one.
never went back to high school?
No, it was 3 months before graduation.
My
And
brother
that's
was
what
like
happened.
that, King Simon, and he was Aquarius, February 11th. And he said, this is stupid. School is stupid. And he dropped out. And then he took the GED.
Yeah.
And he passed it the first time he took it.
I took the GED and got out of there. But
I can't even look back
you know,
at that. It
and I know,
it didn't work for me anyways. It wasn't meant to be. I
and-
tried, I excelled in English, and yet the English teacher joined forces with these other three women. And, then there was anyways, it doesn't make sense because I understand now that there are some people, I'm not alone. There are some people, as I've come to understand, that if you check off the boxes, they've gone through the same thing I have. And, there's a reason for it. And we are different and we have to,
Yes.
everybody's different, but there's some of us that are so different that we're looked at through a kaleidoscope by other people because of how we are, how we think, how we love, but don't get it twisted. I love because the variables, I'm a crab, I'm a Cancer, I'm highly sensitive, and I'm an empath, so I can't help it but feel for other people's feelings.
Right.
However, there is the other side of me. And
Don't mess around.
The dark side of the force.
and karma, I used to help karma out back in high school when I saw people doing really wicked things. And it was like, no, they can't get away with that shit. Even if it wasn't to me, it might be to somebody else, but it was like, this is crazy. Why would somebody do that?
Right.
And now, as time went by, I didn't have to help karma at all because I'm no longer in school and I'm going about my business. And I would hear things would always come back to me about people that did really wicked things or were cruel for no
Mm.
reason. And I would laugh because it was always poetically done according to what they did. I did the tarot cards with the same guy that liked to play head games with me and fly around the place and get ahead of me to wherever. And I did his tarot cards once, and it didn't turn out so well for him. And so, like,
Wow.
he kept bugging me to do it again, and I wouldn't. And then a year later, he drove me nuts, and I finally did it. And the cards fell the same way the next year, the same way. Even I was like, "What is this coming from me? What?" And now he's throwing the cards around, and he's accusing me of. I said, "I don't. I'm just. Listen. You asked me to do this. You've been driving me nuts. I did it." And this is what happened. You see, I'm not. Listen, I'm not a card shark. And it happened one more time, and the same thing came out, and the rest of his life was right there mapped out. And he died 2 years ago.
Wow.
But I've known him since then, and yeah, he wasn't nice to women. And years later, 20 years odd later, when we started speaking again, he would confess that he was not, and I think he repented himself to death. He was so sorry about things he did to me and to others, and because his life turned out exactly like how the cards, I mean, word for word. And even, I guess, the gypsy side of me, I remember saying to him one day, "You enjoy hurting people, particularly women." I said, "Well, one day," and everybody says, "You don't get mad. When you get mad at us, don't point your finger, because it's always when you point your finger, it happens." And I pointed my finger at him, and he was laughing going out the door. And I said, "Well, I only hope that one day, if it's not now, it's 10 years from now, that a woman is you're going to get yours, and it's going to be a woman to do it to you. And I pray to God that I'm there to see it when it happens." And he laughed at me and went out the door.
Ooh, that's some Shakti you dropped on him.
And first of all, he ended up marrying my sister years later. And, well, she was evil incarnate. She was scary. I'm actually afraid of her. I've always said I'd rather face an angry man with a gun and try and talk him down than be in the same room with that sister. Because she had a love-hate for me, and she really tried to destroy me. And I didn't even know until the last minute, really, the last wicked thing that she did. And then I realized you have to stay away from that person, no matter how much you wanted a sister around you, or because we didn't grow up. She grew up with my father, I grew up with my mother. And it doesn't matter, lonely child who isn't accepted by most people. When she came around, she used her she was not a fool. And she manipulated me, "Oh, it's your sister, oh, and I love you, sis." And when we get, and I did everything to get her to live with us, and I did, and I live to regret that. But I mean, I don't hate her. I'm just afraid of her, so I stay away. But yeah, I've come across a lot of people that, karma. I've watched karma do what they've done. By the way, I never read the tarots again after him, because I
Wow.
watched as his life literally. must- I watched, and I was angry then at him, but 100 years later, you're thinking, this guy is so remorseful about the things he did, and there's nothing he can do, because, as they say, karma, she's a merciless bitch. So it doesn't matter how much you plead, guilty and remorse, you're getting yours. And it's funny, because it was a woman that did it to him, and after my sister, another woman did it to him. And then he was completely broken. He was a shell of what once was, you
Wow.
know and he became an alcoholic. He couldn't stop. And I really wished that I tried to help. I really did. Anyways, he died 2 years ago in the hospital for complications. Well, he went in as usual for alcoholic complications. But I believe when the doctor told him to take those 2 vaccines while he's in there, he finally caved in. He finally caved in, and he did it. He spoke to me 4 nights in a row. We talked about the music of our past, and we had that connection over the music of that period. And he would call me late because he knew I was an owl, and I was nocturnal. And then I called him one night, say on a Thursday night, and he didn't answer the phone. You know, he was in the hospital. He was like there for a month. And so I left a message on his phone. Oh, it's fun that you could call me and keep me on the phone till 7 in the morning. But I call you and you're sleeping. Fantastic. Anyways, the next day, his daughter, my niece, called me and said that he had gotten into a coma and was living inside his head. And so I said, you put me on the phone to him. She was there. And I started doing what I've done before with people that are on their way out. And yeah, he started floating, his eyes fluttering them open. She was freaking out. She had been playing music to him, and I said, oh my God, I feel so bad for you, Anthony, to be stuck and trapped in your head, and you can't tell your daughter to stop playing that tacky music. If only, wouldn't you like me to come down? And I was talking like that, and I said, God knows the things you'll do for attention. Get up from there. And he started moving his hands, his legs, and she was flipping out. And then, I mean, he did the most, and you could see his eyes trying to open, and then that was it. But I've had that happen to me with other people. And yeah.
That's
This is
deep.
very interesting because
It is.
most of the time you hear about the other people, astro traveling and having near death experiences as if we, the original people of the planet, would not have these things happen to them. And your story is very, very, not your story, your experience within this life lets us know that there's no reason to fear anything. When one door is closed, another one is open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I
I
watched
was,
my mother ascend the night that, I'll just say, the night that they killed her at that hospital. Um, I drove back
Oh,
and I was numb and I
YouTube,
was in the,
they unalived her.
yeah, they unalived her,
what? You
sorry.
can't, oh man. You
They
see,
You
this
better
thing,
read. You better
unbreathed
read the
her.
protocols, Cafunia. King
okay,
Simon knows about it also.
you
And
got to say
on the way back,
unalived?
I
Yeah.
stopped. I was a block away from my place, and I was on the phone to my cousin Sandra in Toronto. And then I started freaking out, and she thought maybe I ran off the road, but it was snowing, big flakes, big fat flakes, big. I don't know if you can get that idea, big flakes. And all of a sudden, a half a block from where I am, violet petals started to merge with the snowflakes hitting my windshield. And as it would come down, it was coming down, but it would of course fall, melt down to the bottom of the windshield. And as it did so, I mean, these beautiful purple violet leaves, and then as it would hit, I guess the pollen, that's like the golden dust in the middle, inside the center,
Mm-hmm.
did one of these and came up. So it would dissipate going down the leaves or the petals with the snowflakes. And the gold dust was raising. It was just raising in front of me. And I was like, I stopped the car in the middle of the road, but it was so late at night, nobody would run into me anyways. It was like midnight. And I stopped the car and Sandra's on the phone going, what happened? What happened? And I'm looking in the back and it's dark. And I'm looking in the front and it's dark up ahead, but it was like there was a light over my car. So everything was, at first I thought I was having another UFO experience, but this was something different. And right away I knew my mother was ascending. And to experience that, I've experienced a lot of miracles. I'm an absolute believer, but this one, this,
What about the UFO experience?
I've had those, they're not pleasant.
Oh, okay.
They're,
Let me tell you.
because
Tell
I'm
us.
scared that I'm not coming back. I don't know what I'm going to see. And there's one that I know I've always ran away from them, and I've been with people that have seen them with me, and they're in shock, like our
Mm,
cousin Jackie. But there's
This is great.
but
This is great.
I
Thank you
know,
for
I
opening
love
up.
it.
there's one that happened one night to my mother and I driving back to the house, and a couple of blocks away. And as we're driving, it was late, and we were at a green light, and just up ahead, You know, you could see the other light up ahead. And we're talking, and then all of a sudden I look, and it covered the full street and over the 2 apartment buildings. They might have been
Wow.
4 stories, and you know, high, but it was that low. It was a big black mass, circular, and I said, "Ma," because now I wasn't alone again, thank God, and my mother was with me, and I said, "Mom, what's that?" Like I needed proof that I wasn't like hallucinating, and I said,
Right.
"What's that?" And it was all black, but you could still make out the detailed parts underneath of the architecture. I don't know if it was windows or whatever, but you could see it. It was circular, but you could see lumps and bumps and designs of whatever underneath it. And my mother looked, and when she responded, I was like, "Oh my God, she's seeing this. It's not me alone." And it was massive, massive.
Sherine, what year was that? Do you remember?
It
Because
was in the 90s because I
because
just bought
why I
that
asked
building.
that, because why I asked that, since 1989 in Canada, UFO survey has documented 22,000 UFO sightings since 1989.
Wow.
Well, you know,
Wow.
it was the regular in Betty Farm. You know, it was the regular. They realized that it was a hubbub of energy for these cats. So we as children we used to see these things a lot at Betty Farm, where I grew up as a child, and you know, we'd still go running. But that's not the point. The point is that night when she saw it and I saw it, the light turned green. It was no longer red. And she goes, "Don't move." I said, "You think I'm driving into that?" Because we would have driven right under it. So I said, "I'm waiting for it to go. We're not going nowhere, Mom." And at that time, I was driving a blue, uh, what was it? What was
That big,
that car?
that
The,
big
the,
car, yeah, I
the
remember that.
yellow taxi cabs from New York. What do they call them?
The big hoopty.
The
Well,
Caprice Classic. Caprice
yeah.
Classic. It was a big blue Caprice Classic, 79. And it didn't move. And I said, "I'm not moving either. I'm not moving until it goes." Funny thing is, fast forward, I mean, Mommy and I talked about it with people, her experience. She was, you know, excited to say she experienced it. And I just remember one day waking up from bed and I said, "Oh, before I get up, what am I going to do? Maybe I should take a nap. I'm still tired. But when I get up, I'm going to do this or whatever." So I went to close my eyes again. It was daytime. And I closed my eyes and I had a flashback of those, whatever they call them, the tall grays. Is that it?
Right.
The funny heads and the eyes. I was like, I was like I was awake, but not. It was like it was a memory. It was like I was having a memory. And I remember being in a dark place and I was on somewhere really cold, like a cold metal table. And my right side was hurting me. Something was pressing against me. And there was lights in my face. And I kept screaming, "Mommy, Mommy," because it was like she was with me, "Mommy, Mommy." And and then from the light, from between 2 of the lights, I saw the face come down with the eyes. And I jumped up. I started screaming because I realized when I called my mother and I told her, I said, "Mommy, you remember that night?" She goes, "How can I forget it?" I said, "And then we were home, right?" She goes, "Yes." I said, "Do you remember getting home?
Wow.
Do
You
you
remember?
do you remember anything other than us not moving until it left and then suddenly we're home? Do you remember anything of the?" She goes, "No, no. It must have gone because." I said, "That's the whole point, Mommy."
You remember what time it was? You remember what time it actually was? Because
But it could have been 1 in the morning because it was really late. But I just
So I got a
it's at
question,
that moment
Sherane.
I realized, oh my God, we were taken. We were taken. We, we didn't escape this thing because there's a big block of memory missing from us waiting for that thing to
Oh,
go. And then I'm like a couple of years later, I had these flashes of this thing and I'm screaming, "Mommy," and don't know where she is. "Mommy, Mommy." And you know, for 2 years after that, I slept with all the lights on, all the lights in the hallway, lights in my room. Lights.
Sherane.
If I could have set a bonfire in the middle of my bed, I would have. I was
Sherane.
terrified.
Why are you terrified if you are empathic? You could have empathically tuned in to the ship and the ETs. What
Yeah,
happened
but
to the
It
empathic
was
part?
not pleasant, though. It wasn't pleasant. It was whatever they were doing that was not pleasant, and then it hurt. And my mother was missing, and that's not the way it was when Stella and I would meet. It was different, and I know, if anything, on purpose, she was made to look that way in my effigy. You
Mm.
know, with the pigtails and like the 12-year-old, uh, you know, the 11, 12-year-old. She looked like a child, you know, to me, and she had the eyes, but it was a different feeling. You weren't scared. These cats, I don't know what was going on. And there was another morning I woke up and I felt something in the back of my neck, and it felt like it was under my skin, and I called to see the doctor, and because I suspected what it might be, because they keep finding me. I could move to Alaska tomorrow.
Because
I,
maybe you are one of them.
well, as Simon said, we are all.
Yeah, so family reunion in the middle of the
Yeah,
night.
but man, I'm not ready for this. I'm not.
That's like a little putty cat that don't realize she's a lioness until she goes to the lake and sees her reflection.
Well, I
Because
do
you are
know that my
definitely
my Indian spiritual animal is a Bengal tiger. That I know.
Wow.
well.
That
Get
I
over it,
know. And an
meow.
African woman confirmed it.
Hey,
I'd always, yeah. And I
Sherine,
have encountered baby tigers throughout my journey.
while
And
you're
when I see them,
talking,
I forget they're dangerous, and I run up and I start petting them, and I look at them. I have a picture of one that was a lion, though. That one suckled on my breast when it looked up at me, and it just grabbed onto me and started suckling. I know that's embarrassing. I have the picture. I said to
but
my friend Cindy, "Do something. Call the." She goes, "I am." She's taking freaking pictures.
I love it. I love
my
it.
cat, Sherine, my cat came in the room when you started snowballing your story. He's sitting right here listening.
And that's another story too about cats. When my mother was
He's
pregnant
right
with
here.
me and
Come
she
here,
went to
Tiger.
visit a friend in Vermont, Maria von Trapp from the original von Trapp family in The Sound of Music. And suddenly a cat was there. Oh my
Oh,
god. Oh my god, it's so cute.
oh.
What's
Looking
its
at you,
name? What's its name?
Tazar.
Hi,
Cesar?
Cesar.
Cesar, can you see me?
Cesar.
You're beautiful. Oh my god.
He's big too.
Oh, I've always had cats.
Oh, that's all he
Up in
want
the
to hear. I
attic
don't know
over
what the
there.
hell
Meow,
y'all talking
But
about.
meow, meow.
but there's so many things that have happened. But when my mother was at the Von Trapp family, and I guess she was almost ready to burst, but she was terrified of cats because then this one would follow her around. And she didn't understand what the hell is wrong with this cat. One night she said she went to bed in the guest room. And when she went to go under the covers, she saw something curled up at the foot of the covers at the foot of the bed, rolling around. And when she pulled the thing, it was the cat rolled up, looking at her like, "We're going to sleep together. I want to be around you."
Yep,
And
that's
and
it.
it drove her nuts. And eventually, a family from Quebec had visited the Maria von Trapp in Vermont, and she had met my mother. Or they had met my mother, and they thought she was so sweet, and they invited her to come and witness Montreal, come and stay with them for a couple of days and experience Montreal before going back to, I guess it must have been New York. And apparently, when they crossed the border, my mother thought she had an accident in the car, and it was actually not pee, but the water burst. And they drove her to the nearest hospital, and that was in Saint Jean, Quebec, which is where I was born. And when she called Maria Trapp, Maria said, "Sybil, it's best for you to leave her there and try and get yourself together to come to Canada. It'll be better for you there." And
Wait a
but she
minute, wait a
also
minute, wait
told
a
my
minute.
mother the
Are you
strangest thing
saying
happened. The
she was
cat just
she
got
was
up and disappeared at
she
the
was
same time I was born.
so she was connected to Maria von Trapp of the Von Trapp family?
She wasn't connected. She was friends with her.
Because I've
And so
seen
they
her.
invited her to visit them and spend some time with them
I'm
in
seeing her.
Vermont.
I'm watching the family right here on my channel. I'm like, wow, this is a whole family. It's a big singing family, a big
Yes, of
performing.
course. That's where the movie made such an impact, right? The Sound of Music.
The Sound of
But
Music. Yeah,
it's not that as much as the fact that the cat disappeared when I was born.
was born.
When is the book
Hint,
coming?
hint,
When
hint.
is the book
But you see,
coming?
though, you do realize
When
with all
is
the stories and the little, to put that together in a book would seem absurd.
It's called chapters.
Yeah,
That's
but
all it's
even with
called.
chapters, I mean,
And different chapters. No book is going straight consistent when you're dealing with
right?
biography.
the many loves of Simon Templar could be a book. What are you talking about?
I'm already writing an autobiography, so I'm cool. I'm
Yeah, but
good.
that's an autobiography that encompasses,
Yeah, but different
But
chapters.
people need to hear your story, my sister, because some people are experiencing these things, even the Gen Z people or whosoever are experiencing these things, and they don't want to seem like they're cuckoo.
And a lot of people in the chat are relating to your story.
Well, I made the
And I
mistake
thank
of
you, King
actually telling
Simon.
this story when I was young in grade 7, and they turned on this group of girls that I thought was my friend.
You don't have to worry
You
about
gotta get
They
over that.
that.
turned on
You
me.
gotta
Boy,
get
that
over
was
that.
my biggest lesson. Don't discuss things like this.
No, well, get
Now
over
I
it.
don't
Because
care. At
now
this
it's
stage of
time
my
for you
life,
to
I
let it
don't
rip.
care.
Because there's a whole audience that's have you been looking at the comments? You are not alone, Missy Pooh.
No, I don't even know where the comments are. I only saw when look, man, I am so out of the
You
loop.
got
Look,
you got your
listen,
kin.
Unc, you know that I was struggling, and Simon knows that. Listen, I had a hard time. Just look, I had to get on my phone. Hello, because I couldn't get this thing going on my computer. I was like, oh my god, what kind of an intelligent person am
She,
I?
she,
And I
she
can't
has a
seem to.
Jurassic Park computer.
Listen,
But
Time,
the
time
crazy
for the
thing is, but
upgrade.
Simon, I'll have you know that everything inside it was a lot newer. I had put in. I just
It's
that's all
called
it
Charane,
is.
it's a
As
the
Jerry says, I
geriatric.
audience.
have let go issues. So I even with inanimate objects, he was laughing at me yesterday. I was telling him because I started crying over watching Kamala talking to the people, and when they showed the camera of
Oh
some of these
boy.
young girls, they were crying, and I was like, oh shit.
They were crying because she didn't show up. She showed up the next day.
Yeah, I know that was terrible. But I was crying again, that stupid empathy. I call it stupid because who wants to cry 24 hours a day? I feel like walking around with blindfolds. But
So instead of being empathically crying, why don't you be empathically blissful so that it could start a bonfire? Shireen Cancerian. We're
yeah, but
tired
I'm
of the
just talking
blues. We
about when
need
I
to have.
reacted to those people yesterday, when the cameras were on those young girls crying.
Yeah, well, that's
I
when you send them your bliss.
It was
Well, all I know
hilarious.
is I started crying, and my cousin laughed at me and he says, "Oh, I can't believe you're crying over that. Are you crying over that?" And I said, "No, not really. I'm just having a moment." No,
I
not
got
really.
smoke in my eye.
I'm like putting the tissue box across my face. I said, "Oh my God, you think I want this though?" I said, anyways, I'm
Shireen,
over it.
Shireen. The part of being empathic, which is so magical, and a lot of the audience are empathic who's listening to you, and they're commenting that they're relating to your UFO experiences. They're experiencing this, and you're not alone.
Oh, I
However,
know.
the flip side of being empathic don't mean that you have to reflect their blues. You can
Right.
also encourage their bliss and their enlightenment. That's the gift, the double-sided sword of being empath. Not that you got to be a gutter reader, but you can be a heavenly sender so
Right.
that at the same time you receive the transmission you of dismal blues, you can elevate them because you're on their same 107.5, 98.7
FM.
WRL bliss up.
Well, I have been talked to for the maybe about 4 people now have mentioned I should do a podcast. First of all, I wouldn't know what the hell to do to get that happening. I would know, look, I can barely figure out the computer, but I know
But don't
that,
keep saying that, because every time you say that you can't figure out, then you're cementing that you can't
oh
really
no,
do it.
no, but
Just
but I'm
say,
also very stubborn. So even after this show, trust and believe me, I'm gonna figure out things because this was stupid. What happened tonight? It was just ridiculous, Simon.
Be
Simon,
gentle. This was magical. You got a packed house of people watching you. They're loving it.
yeah,
And you
well, you
can't
know
see the
what?
comments, but
I love
King
people.
Simon seeing the comments, Kafunya seeing the
How
comments.
come I'm not seeing these? Is it because I'm on a phone?
Yes,
Um,
yeah,
yes. You're uncommentable.
Taxi, check, please.
Yeah, check please.
That's
Yeah.
no, I think the only thing that I feel good about being an empath is when people do call me when they're feeling away And I don't know what it is I say to them, but when they get off the phone, I call them people with bruised souls. And when they get off the phone with me, they feel better.
But
I
how
don't
do
know.
you feel? How do you feel?
I feel
Do you
good
feel
when they say
drained?
thank you. I feel so much better when I
Okay,
can see that they're blossoming again. I
good.
feel that, and that's great. But at the end of the day, because I would have up to 1 to 3 people calling me. I should have made this a life's career. But at the end of the day,
Yep.
when my light is dimmed and I'm exhausted, I had that person that's taken from me. I had that person to call or run over, and on the small of her head, that's where her light would come from. People all over would come over, and I tell them, go over to my mother, just bring your head down, close your face down, right over the small of her head, and just let it happen. And they would freak out, and they would hold her, and she would just giggle and laugh. There was an innocence about her. Oh my God. But I would go there and I would be replenished. Now for the last 2 years, I'm replenishing myself, and that's kind of hard.
Can you turn on the oven for me?
Who you talking to? We
Who
ain't
you
cooking.
talking to?
We always,
Sorry.
we ain't cooking for you.
Is there somebody there that's gonna?
Yeah, I think one of
I'm
our
like,
sons, probably. But
no, but
tell us,
that's the plus side.
for sure.
The
Hey,
plus side is to be able to help people through whatever it is I say. Unfortunately, some of them come back and kick me in the ass later on. But that's just human nature in many people. But it was my best friend, my mother, that had that ability. And I would be replenished, and I would hold on to her, and she would just giggle and laugh, and I'd hold on to her and just ingest that light and replenish. And I was ready the next day for what came,
right.
because she was, well, he knows his aunt
Yes, I
and
do.
and who she was. And a
Yes.
lot of people, and my
Que
grandmother was the same way.
será, what will
She had a
be?
beautiful angelic voice, and
Que
the,
será. That's how she used to sing to me.
really, no, she
Wow.
She would sing
she
that.
had an angelic voice. People
Yeah,
used to
that voice
listen
just
to
like it.
her at Benny when we lived in those apartment buildings, what you would call, like, I guess in New York you'd call them tenement buildings.
Yeah.
There were low income buildings that were built for the veterans that came back from the war. So they were built in Montreal, and all the kids, it was like a scene out of a Spielberg movie, all the different types of kids that were grouped up, and the things that you had, the professor that would build a go-kart and then have an engine put in it. He would also build tree houses and then have an elevator. It was crazy. All of us, we were all like out of the minds of Steven Spielberg. And that's where the 12-year-old comes in. And that's where my paradise that I'm building, it's a time capsule. And this is what's keeping me alive, is the mission that I started for
And
my mother and for other people that were like-minded, that want to be able to escape from what is going on in the world and go there, and just, again, like-minded people. The music is going to be straight out of from 60s, 70s,
and
80s,
and and
and the games are all
Sherane,
old and classic.
Sherane, what else is keeping you alive? Your 300 wigs.
And counting and counting. I love them. I mean, I normally I dye my hair like this, but you get bored, so you have wigs, plop on. And I think when Ankh met me, I was wearing a red wig.
You know what's so funny? The word wig adds up to 21, and she's born on the 12th, which is interesting.
Wow.
And she has had, I think she's probably one of the ones I've ever seen a full room. You could have one bedroom. Like, look at the bedroom that Allison used to live in. That whole room is filled with wigs.
And you know what inspired
Holy,
me?
I'm in that room now.
That room is filled
I
with wigs. Imagine that.
From Sonny and
A room
Cher
filled with
Wow.
in
wigs.
71. That was who inspired me, because she too has native in her, and her hair is straight and black and boring.
Who's that? Who's that again?
Cher.
Cher, yes,
And
yes.
so, when you see her shows after the commercials, she has a short, curly, blonde. She had, and there was a young person who was not old, because at this point, wigs had that stigma. They're for old people that are balding or whatever. And I had more than enough of my hair on my head. I mean, I remember looking at a picture not too long ago that I found, and it looked like a helmet on my head. It was like I was tan, and my face was like this, and then there was all this hair that was curled, and that
I
my
think
mother and them just
that was
loved
for your
doing
birth.
that
I
stuff.
think that was your birthday party, I believe.
Yes, you've seen the picture. Doesn't it
Yes.
look like it's a big freaking helmet
Yeah.
that doesn't even
Like
belong
a
on my
big.
head? Because my,
Yeah.
anyways.
It was like her curls was like this big hanging on on her hair. It was hanging just like this on her hair.
Oh my God. And so, but it was watching Cher and her on the Tonight Show explaining, because the guy was saying, how do you manage to change your hairstyles so quickly? It says it's wigs. And then
Exactly.
I sat up and I looked, and
Because Sonny Bono was too cheap to buy her give her a new hairstyle.
Yo, this is amazing, brother King. Sherine, I want to thank your cousin, King Simon, because he pulled it out of you. You had stories, spaghetti
I could
stories.
strangle him for doing some of those subject matters though, but I'm going to keep
No, I'm glad.
smiling.
I'm glad he pulled it out of you because I wouldn't have known unless I was empathically in tune with you.
Oh, well, like I said, there's only one plus for that, is that you help people that, have bruised souls for that moment. But then all the other ones come for you,
Yeah.
you know,
All the
those
other
ones
ones,
that your
what?
spirit affects them. I didn't get that at all in New York. All of you guys were unbelievable. I felt like Alice in Wonderland. I fell into a completely different place where all the people were like this, and so accepting and so together. And I felt like it was, the beatnik time of the 60s or something. Everybody was so, and there were people that looked like me. I wasn't so accepted like that.
So why the hell
Mhm.
you up in Montreal? You should be down here.
Exactly.
Exactly. I spent a lot of time down there. Ask Simon.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
be playing victim up there in Montreal. Oh, it's just
Not
me.
if I can help it, hon. No, I don't play victim well.
Oh, now I'm trying to pull the spaghetti out of you.
No,
Ooh.
my idea is like my mother says, you don't have the best form of revenge is just let them see you succeed. And then you can smile,
Oh.
because it wasn't the people you'd think that helped me become who I was in the business. It wasn't.
This is
And,
magical. I'm so happy
but
you
I'm
are
there
here.
in New York and I'm seeing
Very
people that
much
look like
so.
me that are so positive and so like, oh my God. And there is this group that's I've been invited to, a woman named Sherry that invited me to that circle, and I brought in another person who I really believe in. There's a bunch of them, and I'm getting to know them bits and pieces at a time. There's some that you really should not, uh, entertain giving your energy to when they ignore you. But
For sure.
and I and I
Shereen, that's
and
why
I
I
and,
wear
and
all
now
these
I do
beads.
that. Now I do it. But you see, I
Mhm.
wasn't always like that. It would make
Shereen,
you know.
that's why I got all these beads. So I can filter the funk and
Amen.
then let my bliss dominate, radiate, activate, transmutate. I'm not wearing this as bling. This is my shield and my transmuter.
Do you
So
find people come for you, my friend?
Your
No, they're
breastplate.
repelled. And the
yeah.
ones who are attracted are for my highest good. So what I did an experiment. You're part of it too because you got the necklace on. They're repelled by the energy. The ones that are not for your highest good are repelled, and the ones for your highest good are drawn to you. And I'm always
Interesting.
upgrading. And what it's
Ah,
become, literally, it's become also a karmic accelerator. I'm
I
telling
like
you what
that.
it is. Because, Charleston White like to say, broken people hate to love and love to hate. But
Oh
what
my
happens when you
God.
run across a
I have
person?
some that are drawn to me for the person that I
Yeah, well, you
am.
wear those beads, and what it does, it's a karmic accelerator and a protector.
Well, I'm going to do
So you
that.
stay in your
I'm going to
bliss.
experiment this next coming week,
I
from
like the
now
way your
until
lips
next
look when
week.
you said that.
And she's so
And I'm just
pretty.
going to have to tell you what happens then.
Okay.
And if they
She's so pretty.
and if they come for me, I'm going to take some of your Y powder and throw it. No
All you
way,
got to
man.
do is take
I'm
that
keeping
white.
that shit. There's no way I'm sharing that with bozos.
No,
But
what you
you know
do.
what I do? Just I don't know if you experience that, my sister, but there's a lot of people that will I draw a lot of narcissists.
Wear the beads. You need the beads. You got to filter.
Yeah.
You got to filter because what is it inside of you that attracts gutter vibrations?
Mm.
I just keep saying that the dark one must know something about me that I don't, and he
No,
just
what
keeps
you do is you
trying.
wear the waist beads. You put on black tourmaline, black onyx waist beads because you got to protect women, sisters. Healing hands, healing hood knows. Y'all ladies got to protect your womb and your Stargate from the ghetto vibes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm just wearing this on like an outfit, but I'm
Outfit,
I'm
sleep in it
trying to
tonight.
see about this group called the Sistren, and I'm still there because I see hope and I see what I saw in New York, and I'm seeing that happening with some of them that are determined to accept and help elevate
Look,
the black
what
the
what you should tell us, give us some of the mantras to get those people away from them, because I used one of the mantras while I was driving the U-Haul down, and it would
Ooh.
make me invisible to all law enforcement.
Ah.
Oh,
That helps me all the time while I
yes,
was driving down from New York and PA. That
yes.
makes me invisible to all law enforcement was just passing me by, stopping other people, or they was across and I was
they
at a
used to
speed.
bother me here too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
But
am invisible to all law enforcement.
that's
I chanted that from New York City to ATL, and they were pulling them over in South Carolina, left and right. They didn't see me.
that got to chant. Yeah, you got to put that on. I'm invisible. Yeah,
And
that,
I am attracting true lovers, true friends.
right.
And I am irresistible to true friends and true lovers.
Yeah. I mean, those
wow.
it works out because he told us that 10 years ago. I've been using
Words sound power.
it's a powerful. I got to get ready to go. Sorry, I got
Well,
to get
King
ready to go.
Simon, I want to thank you for being the interpreter, the instigator, and the activator of Charane. And I need to get up and take a bath and go night night. So I want to thank all of you. Thank you, Kofunya, for hanging out with your dancing
That's right,
rock.
Kafunya. Thank you so much. It's great to see you again.
I know, and you're so beautiful, and you have to write your book because King Simon has uh, uh, inspired me
Right.
to write my very first poetry book and insights, which will be coming out shortly. That's what.
Magnify, magnify, manifest, manifest.
Yes.
This
That's
is
right.
true. I do
And
believe
don't
that.
say, and family, Shireen, Brother King, you already know it. Don't
Yeah.
share your dreams with no ghetto vibrations, no
Yeah.
gutter.
Yeah.
Because, the
I'm
world's a
learning,
ghetto.
I'm
Yeah,
learning
hold,
now
let me
when I'm
finish.
on
Let me
my
finish.
own.
Let me
Yeah, I'm
finish.
learning.
Let
But
me
the
be
person that was my
remembering.
protector, she's
Listen,
gone. Well,
listen,
she's not
listen,
gone. She's there. She has let me know that she
listen.
is there. But
Let the world know what you intend to do, but show it first. And
yeah.
only share your dreams if you know the person's going to say, bless you, child, it's already yours.
Well, thank you for that. There are two people so far that I've approached with something from New York there, but like I told you guys, I want to have like a week or a long weekend of this kind of an expo of
Yeah, we're going to do
what
that
you
on the
guys
next
are,
show.
what you guys encompass.
We're going
So,
to do that next show. Hold that thought for next show because we got to have your interpreter, your cousin, that's right there with the flower of life in emerald green. And
and
he
I
got
love him
to go.
so much. And by the way, he really did leave such an impact on Montreal, when he was here. See, I could throw that at you too, Simon. I mean,
Yeah, I was in the Nation of Islam at that
he
time,
took
and
a little tiny chapter that was this big, and when he left Montreal, he had brothers up there. There was like it was like an army of them, and such consciousness. And now here we are, fast forward, and there's a lot of them that are
yeah,
lost. And
I brought Dr. Khaled up there.
Whoa.
Wow.
He turned it out for 2 days. 2 days he turned that place out. So we was, yeah,
Um,
they,
yes, he was very different.
Yes, yes, yes. We had a very good time. Garland is very different to when he comes in.
He Capricorn.
Yeah, he definitely a Capricorn for real.
Yep.
May
Mhm.
But
rest,
didn't he
may
get
rest.
poisoned? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to lag this on, but
Oh
didn't he
no,
get-
we ain't talking. That's for the next show.
Oh,
That's for the
okay,
next
sorry.
show. Yep.
All
Next
right.
show.
I gotta
Night,
see
night,
y'all.
y'all.
Good night. Good
Thanks
night.
again, Brother King. Thank you, Kofunya.
Before
Thank you, Sherine. You
Take
are
care.
unchained. You unchained, everybody.
Unchain my
Well, you
heart.
made that line up. I mean, that was your line, you know.
No, it's you. I don't see the chains on you.